"You'll never amount to anything." Her words, sharp as shards of ice, pierced through the air, shattering the remnants of our polite dinner conversation. My sister-in-law, Margaret, always had a knack for delivering brutal honesty, but this time, her words cut deeper than usual. Perhaps it was the dismissive tone, the way her eyes scanned me with an air of pity, or maybe it was simply the fact that, for once, her words echoed a fear that had been silently gnawing at my own heart. Margaret, with her thriving career and picture-perfect life, represented everything I thought I should be. Successful, driven, and always put together, she effortlessly navigated the world with an air of confidence I could only dream of possessing. In her eyes, I was a stark contrast, a jumbled mess of unfulfilled potential and misguided dreams. Her assessment, while harsh, wasn't entirely unfounded. I had always struggled to conform to societal expectations of success, choosing instead to chase after passions that often left me feeling lost and uncertain. Margaret's words, though I desperately tried to dismiss them as simply her usual brand of tough love, burrowed deep under my skin, festering like a wound that refused to heal. Her judgment, spoken with such unwavering certainty, mirrored the doubts that had long plagued me. Was I destined to be a perpetual underachiever, forever falling short of the mark? The weight of her words, coupled with my own insecurities, formed a heavy cloak of self-doubt that I couldn't seem to shake off. Every decision I made, every path I considered, seemed to be filtered through the lens of her judgment. The fear of failure, once a whisper in the back of my mind, morphed into a deafening roar, paralyzing me with fear. I found myself questioning every choice, every passion, wondering if I was simply deluding myself into believing I could forge my own path. In the aftermath of Margaret's harsh critique, I found myself at a crossroads. I could either allow her words to define my journey, to shrink back into the shadows of self-doubt, or I could use her judgment as fuel to ignite a fire within me. I chose the latter. I decided to stop measuring my worth by the yardstick of societal expectations or the critical gaze of others. This newfound resolve wasn't about proving Margaret wrong. It was about proving something to myself. It was about reclaiming my narrative, embracing my own definition of success, and silencing the chorus of doubt that had haunted me for far too long. I dove headfirst into my passions, the ones that made my heart sing and my soul feel alive, regardless of whether they fit into the neat boxes society tried to confine me to. The path I chose wasn't paved with traditional milestones. There were no promotions, no corner offices, no accolades to boast about at family gatherings. My journey was one of quiet triumphs, of small victories won through sheer grit and determination. It was about the satisfaction of pursuing my passions, of pushing past my comfort zone, and of embracing the messy, imperfect beauty of carving my own path. Slowly but surely, I began to find my rhythm. The fear of failure, while still present, no longer held me captive. I learned to embrace the stumbles and setbacks as opportunities for growth, as stepping stones on my unique journey. The more I pursued my own definition of success, the less Margaret's words held any power over me. Her judgment, once a source of crippling self-doubt, became a distant echo, fading with each step I took towards my own authentic self. The moment of truth arrived in the most unexpected way. I had poured my heart and soul into a project, a culmination of all the passions I had embraced, all the lessons I had learned on my unconventional journey. It wasn't a traditional measure of success, no promotions, no awards, but it was mine, a testament to the power of pursuing one's own path. To my surprise, my work resonated with others. It sparked conversations, ignited passions, and created connections I had never thought possible. It was a humbling realization that success, true success, wasn't about external validation but about the courage to be authentically you. News of my achievement, in all its unconventional glory, eventually made its way back to Margaret. I braced myself for her usual brand of critique, for the subtle undertones of judgment that had always colored our interactions. But this time, something was different. When we spoke, her voice lacked its usual sharpness. Instead, there was a flicker of curiosity, a hint of admiration in her gaze. She asked about my work, not with her usual air of skepticism, but with genuine interest. As I shared my journey, the struggles, the triumphs, and the unwavering belief in my own path, I sensed a shift in her demeanor. For the first time, I spoke freely, not seeking her approval but simply sharing my truth. I spoke of the fear that had once held me captive, the liberation that came from embracing my own definition of success, and the unexpected joy of finding my own way. As I spoke, I noticed a softness in Margaret's eyes, a vulnerability I had never witnessed before. She listened intently, her usual air of composure replaced with a quiet thoughtfulness that surprised me. That evening, a seed of understanding was planted. It wasn't a dramatic transformation, but a subtle shift in the dynamics between us. The invisible wall that had always separated us seemed to crumble a little, replaced by a newfound respect and a glimmer of connection. Margaret began to see me, not through the lens of her own expectations, but for the person I truly was. She acknowledged my journey, not as a deviation from the norm, but as a courageous pursuit of my own authentic self. Our relationship, once strained by judgment and misunderstanding, began to heal. We discovered common ground, shared vulnerabilities, and found solace in the realization that we were both navigating the complexities of life in our own way. Her initial judgment, though hurtful, had inadvertently set me on a path of self-discovery, leading me to a success I could never have imagined. And in that success, Margaret found not only a reason to respect me, but also an opportunity to confront her own rigid definitions of worth and achievement. We both learned that true success lies not in conforming to external expectations, but in having the courage to embrace our own unique paths, flaws, and all.